It's kitty. No, kitty, don't go. It's funny the things we put ourselves through. It's funny how we treat ourselves. It's funny how funny life really is. Every day I challenge myself. Every day. I thought I didn't. I thought I wasn't living to my fullest. But the fact is I was. I am. And I will be. I'm finally at a place in my mind, not in my life, but in my head, to challenge myself and finally take control of my own head. Anyone who knows me knows I'm kind of hyper, knows I'm kind of out there, knows I'm kind of dramatic, big, larger than life, and I need to start using that to my advantage. The truth is, everybody needs to get more in touch with who they are and really boost their self-esteem. It's hard to do things sometimes because we bring others into them. Life is crazy. So am I. Life is funny, life is hilarious. The challenges that we face should be tough, should be hard. If it wasn't for those challenges, we couldn't become the best that we could possibly become. It's not that you have to become better than everyone else, it's that you have to become your own personal best. In order to become your own personal best, you have to really challenge yourself. The funny thing is, I'm not sorry for what I did. I'm not sorry. I'll say sorry. I'm sorry for maybe being selfish, if other people see it that way. And yes, I might have scared a lot of people. And yes, I might have gone about it in a dramatic way. But in the end, I was the only one who faced it. In the end, I'm the only one who has to live with it. I kept wanting to have other people make me feel good. I kept wanting to have other people make my head right. I kept wanting to have a pill to make me right. I kept wanting to have a book to make me right. Something to make me right. I was never wrong. I was just going about it in the wrong way, but I was never wrong. There are better ways of doing things. That's what I should be saying. It wasn't wrong. It's just there's better ways. The thing is, a lot of life is trial and error. I have always worked by trial and error. If it wasn't for those trials and errors, I would never get to where I am now, and I wouldn't have this frame of mind that I have today. I could say that 4 months ago, I wasn't in this place. I thought I was happy. I really did. But I was just hanging on to a thread. I was not repressing things, really. I was coping. Happy that I can finally think right. I'm just so happy. Yeah, I might still be a little ADHD sometimes and hyper as hell, and still got a long ways to go. But when you're thinking right, things can only get better. Hopefully. And they usually will. Yes, there's lots of negative stuff that's going to happen to me. Lots of bad things. And I'm so excited for those bad things. I'm sad to say. But without the bad things, without the fails, without the mishaps, how can trial and error work? You know, in the end, no one was harmed. In the end, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't on anything. I was just in my own head. That's the worst. And you can't blame something on a substance. If I had been drinking and I got a DUI, I could blame it on the alcohol. I could remove the alcohol from the situation. Things would probably get better, more than likely. Too bad alcohol wasn't involved. Too bad pills weren't involved, drugs weren't involved. It's just me in my head. And you can't remove that. The only thing you can do is learn how to cope, learn how to deal, learn how to better handle things. My goal for the future, near future, I have lots of goals. My goal for the near future is to tackle my own thoughts and tackle my own problems and learn how to better cope with everything that is handed to me, because life won't always be perfect. Those moments that it is perfect, you grab onto them, I will grab onto them, and, you know, a little vacation. But when they're not perfect, you have to be on your game. And that's what I'm excited about, are those times when things will be bad and I'll have to make them better. We can't always fix things in our lives, but we can always try. And I refuse to give up on things in my life. I refuse to. You may have thought that I was giving up, but I'm still here. Life is not done with me yet. What can I say? No one was hurt. Like I said, only pockets were hurt. The stupidest thing I did was not give myself what I deserve. I should have lived up to my potential. I was against myself, and that's one of the worst things that can ever happen. You can have everything perfect in your life, and if you're not perfect in your head, if you're not perfect, if you're not slightly there, then oops. The fact is, people like me and many others are in hyperdrive. Our minds are always racing. I'm always coming up with new ideas. I can barely fall asleep sometimes because the ideas are just flooding in. I can barely finish ideas because they're all flooding in. Wow, if I only finished everything I thought up, if I could only get out. Half the thing is I can't get the stuff out of my head in the first place. All these ideas are stuck in there. My hand is not strong enough to draw them yet. My painting skills are getting there. I'm getting better. I need to stay at it. But until I can find a way to get as many of those ideas out as best as I can, because you can truly never, you'll always do better in your mind than you do in real life. And it's fantasy. Fantasies are always ahead. But you have to grab hold of those fantasies and catch up with them. You have to try your best to accomplish them and make them non-fantasy. Life is fact, not fiction. And that's a fact. I'm excited because this new life that I'm leading out, it's not a new life. I don't like calling it a new life because how is it new? It's me. I've always been the same person. I've just not been able to get it out properly. It's been there. I feel completely the same. But the way I cope with things, the way I tackle problems, the way I tackle things that upset me, the biggest thing, now I can see a commercial that would normally have upset me because it might have reminded me of people, it might have reminded me of a situation. I can see them now and I can honestly say I don't have to repress them. Like I'm not repressing like I used to be. I would just change the channel, or I would just avoid the object, or I'll just avoid the song. But it's like now I face it head on. Hurts like hell. But as soon as it's over, I feel stronger. It's just like lifting weights. It's just like painting that hard picture. It's a struggle, but as soon as you make it through and you make it through to the other end, the rewards are and if I keep that mindset, if I keep tackling problems head on and not, because I guess it is a type of repression, changing the channel, and I would do that in my head too. Something came up that was upsetting me, if someone hurt me, if I hurt myself, if something I did wasn't to my fullest extent, to my fullest potential, if I failed at something, I would just, instead of thinking about, I would think about it a lot, but then I would just change the channel. I would get in really deep in the situation in my head. I would overthink it. I would dive in, and then I would change that channel, and I would be stuck with that in my subconscious, eating me from the inside. And I can no longer do that. I can no longer be passive aggressive like that. If problems bother me, I'm certainly able to talk about them somehow. I'm always able to get things that bother me out. Someone does something that I don't like. Why can I get those problems out, but I can't get, things that are bothering me out? At the time, my lights were turned off. They had been off for a week. I didn't have the money to pay for them yet I was working my butt off. I was working 40 to 60 hours a week. If you're working 46 hours a week, I don't have children. I have a lot of bills, but I should be able to at least keep my lights on. And the reason my lights were off is because I didn't even pay the bill because I forgot about it. Came home one day, it's off. Out of sight, out of mind, kind of. And I should have paid that bill. If I just paid the bill, I would have been fine when I had the money at the time.